AM and the 1010XL app. The Gators are led by third-team AP All-American Thomas Houck and AP All-American honorable mention Ruben Chinyelu. It's currently 62 degrees at 1:59 time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Tom is still missing the madness there in the Caribbean, but I'm sure he's happy that his bracket's doing well so far. The one who doesn't really watch college basketball. But yeah, Tom on vacation.
Sometimes
it goes
like
sometimes
that.
Yeah. Everyone talks about their bracket getting busted early because that's what happens. There's never any perfect brackets at the end of the day, but it certainly has been fun. We were following that Siena-Duke game during the show yesterday.
Yeah.
And Taylor, I have decided that I finally approve of the transfer portal in this way. I'm usually anti-transfer portal, right? Like, stick it out where you are. I understand there's extenuating circumstances at times. Yesterday, if I was on the bench and I was a Siena player, I would want to transfer. Why? Because the 5 starters played all 40 minutes. I would be furious that they started to wear down. Obviously, you can, at times you can have guys play close to 40 minutes, but you want to give them at least a little rest.
Yeah. There was somebody we were talking about the night before where they were saying like 3 of their players played every minute.
That was Prairie View A&M.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that we were already amazed by
Florida.
that.
Yeah.
And then now you have where all 5 of your starters are doing that. It's just, number one, bad game planning. And I get it. You're scoring a lot of points. You're winning. You're up by 10 at half against Duke. So you're like, the momentum's going and whatever. But as a coach, you also have to realize if you want that to continue for the full game in entirety, then you need to give these guys at least a little bit of a break.
Right. I mean, imagine like once the team starts a full court press on you, right? Like, and it's Duke. Like, at some point in time, I felt like one of those guys needed a little rest, but clearly the Siena coach had a different philosophy. But like I said, if I was on the bench, I would have, especially if I was a guy that normally gets playing time, but then again,
the portal,
maybe none
you're
of them
on your
ever
phone
do.
at the portal.
Seriously, like, get me out of here. But yeah, obviously Duke went on to win, and certainly I feel like the 1 seeds out there appreciate that Duke was taken, at least they're late in the game by Siena, because that puts pressure on all those other 1 seeds to not lose to a 16. But we're live here at Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant, 1330 Blanding Boulevard, and just south of the intersection with Nightbox Road here in Orange Park. When I looked at the map, it says Lakeside. I didn't even know there was a Lakeside. So in between Orange Park and Middleburg is a little area called Lakeside. That's where we are.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until on the way here I saw a sign, and it was for a dentist, and the dentist said it was like Lakeside Dentistry or something, and I was like, oh, I guess that's a different area. But we do, when you really look into, I mean, Jacksonville's huge, and we know that when it comes to, I don't come out this way much at all. I do have some friends that live very close, and this is actually Big Dog's restaurant is one of their favorite places to go. But even like near me, they call it like Deer Lake or Deer Park, depending where you are, but most people wouldn't know that unless you lived in that area, and you see like everything's kind of labeled that when you Google it, if you're looking for a restaurant or whatever. So,
well, nobody looks at maps anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other thing. We just put it in the GPS and go follow it.
Yeah, you're not on your map quest having to see.
I used to print my map quest directions when I first started driving. Tell me about your lunch here at Big Dog.
Yeah, delicious. I say this and I truly mean it, and I'm pretty picky about my wings too. They have the best wings in Jacksonville, and I wish it was closer to my home because I just got hot, but they're like peppery first, so they season the wing and then toss it in whatever sauce. And so if you like and so if you like spicy, it definitely has a kick. That's what I go for, and I'm sure they have a ton of flavor. So if you're more of like honey barbecue and stuff like that, you won't have to deal with that kick to it. But to me, they're delicious. They're always cooked perfectly. They have the difference. That's one of my favorite things too. I usually can only eat about 5. That's like my limit, and they have an actual 5-wing like lunch meal, which is nice because a lot of places you have to get 10, and then I have leftovers, and usually they don't reheat as well, so it's perfect. But I also got lumpia because I could not decide between the two. Both are delicious, but the menu's massive between salads and burgers and wraps and wings and their appetizer menu when it comes to lumpia and nachos and quesadillas and like everything you can think of is on this menu.
That's what I
and
have on the
everything
way. A
is
quesadilla.
delicious.
I'm super excited.
What wrapped it? Because you can choose your tortilla.
I went with the spinach tortilla.
Okay, because they have spinach tortilla, garlic, and then just
a
like
chipotle.
a chipotle one. So different. That's cool. I don't think I've ever been anywhere where you choose your tortilla for your quesadilla.
Yeah, I love that. Your tortilla for your quesadilla. But yeah, we are here at Big Dogs. So come say hello to us. Obviously, tons of televisions, and we're watching some really close basketball games here on this Friday in the second day of full March Madness. You've got Texas Tech taking on Akron. That's the 12-5. We obviously saw High Point upset Wisconsin yesterday in that 12-5 matchup, but Akron currently is losing 52-43 in that one. 15 minutes left to go, and then the other tight one, Kentucky, has a 3-point lead over Santa Clara with about 3 minutes left to play. So that Kentucky obviously score is going to impact Foye Oluwakin's bracket. That's for sure.
Yeah, because he said he had him going all the way. But he did say, at least he was honest with us in the sense of he'd bet his money on Kentucky, but he wouldn't tell somebody to bet their money.
That is
on
valid.
Kentucky.
And I get it. When you're a fan of a team, that's who you want to put in your bracket because you don't want to jinx them either way, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Arizona is beating Long Island 29-18. That has about 9 minutes left in the first half. And then another close game. It's early, but Wright State, the 14 seed, is leading Virginia 16-13 with about 12 minutes left to go in the first half of that one. So Virginia, obviously a national champion from a few years ago. Everyone knows that that anything can happen though in March Madness.
Yeah, we've already had some that have shocked people, and I think both the 11s. I ended up getting both of those yesterday. When it comes
VCU
to that Texas
beating North Carolina.
Yeah, and then the other one was the BYU one.
Yeah.
Texas upset BYU. So both of those I did have on my bracket, so that's positive because it looked like it was going very badly in the beginning when the first few that had. I ended up not getting. I didn't pick obviously Ohio State. I did not pick Louisville, and I did not pick Wisconsin. So right away I was like, okay, this is a bad day.
Yeah,
but then luckily I got the rest of them.
That's good. Yeah, and there were quite a few trendy upsets, so to speak. And
USF being one of those.
USF was one of those. Thanks a lot to Bulls.
Yeah.
But the High Point, a lot of people were high on, pun intended, on High Point, and they got it done. I did pick VCU also, to your point, to beat North Carolina, and so. I would say when it comes to the bracket, just relax and wait and see if you have the Elite Eight teams and the Final Four teams. That's when it really matters.
Yeah, once you start having to mark off deep into it, like if you lose one and then you have to mark off multiple because you lose one is when it really starts to affect you. Luckily that has not happened on mine yet, but I feel like last year I was sitting almost in like the same exact situation, and then by the end of the night tonight I was marking ones deep into my bracket into the whether it was Elite Eight or Final Four. I don't think I lost any Final Four day one, but I do remember I lost some an Elite Eight 1 or 2. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's always the dagger.
Yeah, that when you're like, oh no, why did I do that? Last year I remember because I track all of these, and you were asking yesterday because obviously there's easy ways on ESPN where you could go and click it in and you could go in and it calculates everything for you. We've done these manually since I've got here, so for a decade now I've been tracking these where everybody just writes it on a piece of paper and I manually go through and highlight and mark off and add all the scores and send out an Excel sheet to everyone. But it's kind of fun too because I can see how well everybody's doing and who's picking what and what the trends are and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to see how everyone's bracket is a little different. There's a big chunk of people in our 10-10 XL bracket who all have like 13, 12, or 11 points. Almost the majority of everybody only missed that, 3 or 4 games. So, but it's the beginning. So we'll see what happens as we move forward with some of these games. Kentucky being one of those.
Absolutely. I've got a game tonight. Obviously, Florida taking on Prairie View A&M supposed to tip off at 9:25. We'll see what time it actually tips off because we all know about how college basketball is.
Yeah.
And I will say I am already nervous, but that should not surprise anyone. But we will have Patrick Young join us here at Big Dogs, and we'll certainly break it down. Like I said, I think the Duke game yesterday, Duke almost losing to Siena, really did help those other 1 seeds, including Florida, who Todd Golden, I'm sure, able to show them this is what happens.
It's easy.
And,
it can happen.
Right. And the Duke player at halftime saying that they thought it was going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
If I was a Duke fan, I would be so mad at John Shire. Oh my goodness.
Speaking those words out loud, yeah. And I think that I heard Pat Young, because he's working all day long, by the way.
He loves this time of year.
Yeah. He was on earlier. He did the podcast earlier with Hacker, and then I saw him do a call-in, I'm guessing with probably SEC Network or one of those, and then obviously he'll be on with us for the second hour. So busy day for Pat, but he said he loves it. I mean, this time of year is fun, especially if you're a basketball person like him. But I heard him saying earlier, he's like, Prairie View isn't Siena. I guess people were Siena was known to as one of those ones where it's like, okay, they're a better basketball team. So it'll be interesting to talk to him later to just see if there's any, not in the sense of maybe a full upset, but any hesitation of, do you think this could be a close game at half, and what has to be done in those senses, because we do see it. I mean, when you talk about the upsets in March Madness, it just takes that one game. The kid hit his first 2-pointer for the whole entire year.
That stat is so wild. I was curious, since we talked about how all the starters for Siena played every single minute of that game. So I wanted to go back and look, has that been the case for the entire season? Is this what that coach does? But no. If you look through their conference tournament, the MAC tournament, they had other guys play often. Every single game other than yesterday, they had other guys play. So again, if I was one of those players, this guy, Christian Jones is one of them, I would be furious.
Yeah, I wonder if his approach was, okay, our best 5 need to be out there for us to have a chance against Duke. And so we probably aren't going much farther than that. So if we can upset Duke in round 1, give all you have into that, and those 5
terrible
players.
Strategy.
I know. But I mean, if he did it, during the season, I honestly was wondering that, because I'm like, is this a thing? He's one of those guys that leads heavy into those 5.
I feel like we would have heard that though.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't hear anything about that. I remember last year we talked so much about Florida's depth, and some of the schools that Florida played in the tournament, they were they just didn't have that. They had 6 guys, and you're like, okay, well, it's hard to do that. You need probably 8 to be able to, I feel make a deep run into this. And that's why, honestly, a game that's why I did not pick BYU. They have a lot of injuries right now, and I was like, I don't know how deep they can go into this. And I was reading a lot of people kind of concerns into that, and it showed a little bit yesterday. And so,
and you get the team in Texas that was in one of the first 4, so they had to play their way in. But yeah, every, I guess, strategy can be a little different, and it's only wrong when you lose.
Yeah, I know. If they would have upset Duke, everyone would have been like, whatever, you used your 5 guys and it worked.
I know, right? It was, you could tell, though, at the end of that second half yesterday at Siena Duke, you could tell
they needed a nap.
I bet they do today for sure. All right, reminder, we are live here at Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant. We are at 1330 Blanding Boulevard, and they have happy hour from 4 to 7 today. So stop on by, say hello to us, and certainly get some of the best wings and coldest beer in town. We're going to talk some Jaguars football on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, provided by Green Law Group. Want to know what the Drill's job interview sounded like?
I know you guys are jealous of our talent.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Don't get your hopes up. It's not easy trying to find qualified applicants on such short notice.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority, and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Sent in, and Sporting Jacks breaks through first.
For the latest on Jacksonville's pro soccer teams, join the Sporting Jacks Coaches Show, presented by Honda of the Avenues, every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010 AM and 1010XL.com.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for big number one Duval Ford. It's truck time in Jacksonville, and all month long, you can drive home a brand new 2025 F-150 with no money down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% interest for 60 months. That's right, a new F-150 with 0 down and 0% for 60 months. See all the deals now at DuvalFord.com, or just stop by big number one Duval Ford, 1616 Cassett Avenue today. It's truck time at big number one Duval Ford.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
Leon Serza here, your lemon pepper guy. You know Wingstop always delivers. And I'm not talking about that cooked-to-order, hand-sauced and tossed chicken sandwich in your choice of 12 mouth-watering flavors. I'm not talking about the house-made ranch, so good nobody will blame you if you double dip. I'm talking about Wingstop that delivers straight to your door. And did you know they're open until 1 a.m.? So visit wingstop.com or use the app to get flavors delivered right to your door late night only at Wingstop.
Can't stop. Wingstop.
Gold and silver prices are near all-time highs. If you have old jewelry lying around, Estates Roadshow wants to buy it. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, even broken jewelry. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. The Estates Roadshow is in the First Coast area today through Friday, 10 to 5. In St. Augustine at World Golf Renaissance and in Palm Coast at the Holiday Inn Express. Visit estatesroadshow.com or follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook to see all upcoming local events and locations.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact, didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com, their rapid equity loan program, can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
We thought we were about to have madness here live at Big Dogs, and it's sort of madness, but not exactly. So Kentucky, we thought was about to lose to Santa Clara. However, Kentucky just hit the shot of all shots to tie it and send it into
Santa Clara
overtime.
did. They hit a 3.
They did.
Goes up 73-70, and then Kentucky with like 1.7 seconds left turns around, hits a 3, going to overtime now. Everyone went, oh, for Santa Clara, then oh, for Kentucky.
But this is why you want to be at a sports bar
Watch
during
all
March
of it.
Madness, because we have some very heavily invested people sitting at the bar right now. And this is this is my gut, Taylor, right now. You're Santa Clara. You thought you were about to upset Kentucky.
Yeah.
And granted, they're a 7 seed. They're not a 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah.
But still, you thought you were about to upset Kentucky. Now with all that emotion, you have to go play them in overtime. I feel
Wait
like
for a
Kentucky
second.
wins this game.
Yeah, I hope not. I was like, I think I picked Kentucky, and I looked at my bracket. I was like, oh, never mind. I picked Santa Clara. Go Santa Clara.
So, they are the Broncos. Santa Clara is, and they, like I said, almost upset Kentucky, but they will head to overtime here.
I love overtime. Yeah, and then we have, obviously, Texas Tech's up 64-55 on Akron right now. And the other game, the Virginia Wright State, still close. It's 22-21 with about 8:24 left in the first for that one. So another close one over there.
For sure. And then Arizona beating Long Island by 20 right now with about 6 minutes left in the first half. I'm hoping that that's what I'll be able to say tonight, that Florida's up way
20.
Yeah,
you
up
can
by
breathe
a lot.
little.
And yeah, it has a lot of breathing room. And
you don't want to be down 10 like Duke was.
No, you definitely don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. But
or
yeah,
even only probably up 5 if you're Florida against a Prairie View. You probably don't want it to even be that close at half.
Yeah, I'd like a couple threes for Florida to go in early, and then they can get into that rhythm. And but we'll talk to Patrick Young, who is on his way,
making an early arrival. He texted me about 6 minutes ago and said he'll be here in 10.
Yeah,
so we'll have him a little
in the parking lot.
Oh, perfect. So we'll have him a little longer than we thought.
Exactly. All right. Some Jaguars players with the most to prove in 2026. Taylor, obviously the quarterback always has a lot to prove, right? Even if you already have your long-term deal signed, like Trevor Lawrence does, but there's always pressure on the quarterback. So we'll put the quarterback to the side.
Yeah.
I would say we have to start in that running back room.
Yeah.
Bayshal Tootin, Chris Rodriguez, I'd put both of those players as far as having a lot to prove in 2026.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that when it comes to Bayshal Tootin, it's one of the situations where you saw glimpses of that last year of what Tootin could be. And then the postseason, you felt like, oh, here it is. This is Tootin's breakout game. And obviously the ball wasn't given to him like most people would want. And so you want that to continue in the sense of it was like 14 point something yards a carry he had during that game. So it was just really fun to watch. And if that's like what the glimpses that you're getting of Tootin, it makes you really excited. But yeah, then the Jags go and they say, you trade away ETN, or I guess ETN hits free agency. And so you have that conversation of you maybe for a very small moment, you're like, oh, I'm RB1 now. This is what it looks like. And then they go pay a running back $6 million to come in, and Chris Rodriguez, one that's been with Liam Cohen before, so they have the familiarity there, and obviously Liam Cohen high on him in that sense because of it. When we were talking earlier in the week, and to his running back coach from Kentucky, he mentioned he doesn't feel like he was utilized the right way in his time in the NFL so far. So can Liam Cohen get that out? What we've seen so far is yes, Liam Cohen's really good at getting the best out of these running backs, and some of that is schematic, some of that obviously is coaching, some of that is what he does with the offensive line and being able to create some things there. And so you want those things to continue, but for those two guys, both of them at this point have to believe that they can be running back number 1 on the Jaguars. And so you have to prove that from the start, because you had to win the job, and then you have to do it once the season starts.
And ball security, I think, is going to be huge for both of these guys as they go through practices from now until the season starts, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you fumble in practice, I feel like there's going to be a shorter leash.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the first thing that Tootin did last offseason.
Yeah.
And so that probably did hurt him just a little bit when it comes to getting those opportunities. Plus, ETN was playing so well. ETN.
Yeah, however we're going to say that now.
But yeah, I think those two guys have a lot to prove. I wouldn't put LaQuint Allen in that category.
Yeah,
I
not yet.
think he has proven that he can be relied upon in blitz
Pass
pickup,
blocking,
special teams, whatever they have asked him to do so far to this point in time. I would also say Trayvon Walker, because yes, he's had back-to-back double-digit seasons. He potentially could have an extension even before the season begins, and then there would be maybe less pressure on him at that point in time. But for the here and now, to only get 3.5 sacks even with an injury, I'd say he has a lot to prove.
Yeah, well, and especially because we've talked about some of the other guys that were battling injuries or only played 5 or 6 games last season and had double the sacks that Trayvon Walker had. So you need to see more out of that. You're paying, and especially if you're going to pay these guys. We talked about you can throw Josh Hines-Allen in that, honestly, in the point of you're paid like a top edge rusher and you're not getting to the quarterback like a top edge rusher. So yes, you have these pressures and you can stop the run and do all of these things, but you are paid that amount because edge rushers that get to the quarterback, that's what they get paid. And so that's part of that conversation. But yeah, with Trayvon, I think that you had those middle 2 years, the back-to-back double-digit sack years, and then the rookie season wasn't so great, and last year some of that injury, some of it just wasn't, you just weren't getting home as much as people would like, and so you want to see that kind of bounce back to what was before.
It's interesting. We probably would have been a little bit more negative on Anthony Campanile than we were because of how bad the defense was 2 years ago under Ryan Nielsen and even previously under Caldwell before that. But they did so well in takeaways, and they were so much better than they were in stopping the run. But somehow, some way in his scheme, they didn't get to the quarterback enough.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that a lot when it comes to the players individually. But I don't know that we've said, like, well, maybe part of it is Coach Camp's scheme and maybe he needs to blitz more or maybe whatever he's scheming up is not translating to that sack production. But we haven't really focused on that.
Yeah, and some of it may be that, and some of it, honestly, maybe personnel. I remember in the first, 4 or 5 weeks, Tommy's saying, he's trying, he's blitzing, we're just not getting, the blitz isn't working. And so I do think there were moments where Coach Campanile was trying different things and trying to manufacture those pressures and those sacks, and it just wasn't totally calculating. So you have to put that on the guys, too. I think that...
And we have. So that's
we've talked a lot about the guys, but I do think that there are some other situations where you're kind of looking at it, and it's like, okay, other teams are probably from afar being like, you have Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, and Josh Hines-Allen, and you're not able to get to the quarterback. What's the problem here?
Right.
And by the way, you have a Devin Lloyd who we've seen be able to. You have a Gardeck who's we've seen be able to in rotational situations. You have Agba who you brought in here who had 6 sacks this season before in rotational pieces. And so there's too many guys on that in other times have gotten to the quarterback. So yeah, maybe we haven't talked about that enough in that sense. I think for me another one is it's going to be Brian Thomas Jr. I think that from year one, and you talk about he was setting all of these rookie records in year one, and then last year it's just we saw it from camp, from frustration right away into camp, and it took a while. We've talked about it up until Jacoby Myers came here, and you could really just let him be the field stretcher rather than having him have to do other things. But I do think that the conversation you went from having, oh my gosh, we finally have a wide receiver one that can be a top wide receiver in the league, to people being like, maybe he's getting traded.
Correct.
That is a far jump.
If you believe internet rumors, he's already been traded.
Yeah. And I sent a clip to our group chat yesterday. Steve Smith Sr. was on I can't remember what podcast it was, but he was on there talking about the whole situation. And it was more of his opinion. He wasn't saying this is what I've heard or this is what happened. So everybody take it for a grain of salt, because everybody freaks out anytime you hear somebody share an opinion on something. But it just from his point of view of being in locker rooms and around players and how wide receivers are and things like that, he was kind of went on this whole rant about he was this guy at LSU where it was like Malik Neighbors, right. And he never really, he had a lot of touchdowns, but 17. He didn't get the receptions that Malik Neighbors had. And then you come here and he has that season, granted a lot with Mac Jones his rookie year, but then you come back and it's like you draft Travis Hunter, and there's kind of like this, there was, not saying that all of a sudden Brian Thomas Jr. was pouting or anything, but it's kind of, Steve Smith Sr. was like, it kind of feels like the same situation where you can be the guy, but the teams always bring in this other person that gets all of the attention and all of the, this is our guy. Then you get Jacoby Myers, and it's like, okay, now I'm getting further down in this. Granted, Travis Hunter ended up getting hurt, so you're not talking about him in the offense in that sense. But if you haven't seen the clip, go look it up. It's on Twitter. You can Google it. But he goes a lot into that. He goes a lot into what he, how Brian Thomas Jr. should be used and how you kind of should evaluate that and go into this next season and all of those things. And so it'll be interesting. But I do think that just because of the drastic change that happened from rookie season to year 2, you want to see closer to rookie season Brian Thomas Jr. You don't want to see 10 drops from a wide receiver that you're counting on being one of your top weapons.
Anytime someone calls you alligator arms, right? Or says that about you, that's a massive negative.
Or you're scared to get hit, or you're not getting off quick enough. And those are a lot of negatives talking about a wide receiver where that's your job.
Right. and you're drafted in the first round and things like that. Look, I told you this, that at training camp one day, early in training camp last year, I talked to someone that's in the Jaguars building, and I specifically asked, do you think Brian Thomas Jr. is annoyed by how much attention that Travis Hunter is getting? And this person said, no, this is just one person's opinion, but this person said, I think he loves all the attention that Travis Hunter is getting so that he can just focus on himself and what he needs to do. That person, again, one person's opinion, that person might have been wrong, but I also know that person was in the building. Steve Smith obviously is not, but it will be fascinating to see the dynamic, because Brian Thomas Jr. would tell you his training camp and his season were a disappointment for him. How does that look going into this year?
Yeah, and I think that, maybe the person did mean that. Maybe the person didn't want to start problems with, oh no, all of a sudden everyone's talking about Brian Thomas Jr. doesn't want other wide receivers in the room. You never want that diva wide receiver. We talk about guys like Stephon Diggs, and that's kind of the persona that's around him, and other teams don't want him because of that. So you don't want to put that, AJ Brown. You don't want to put that out into the air. And this is again, I don't know. This is just kind of some of the things that we saw. You clearly saw frustration in camp, and you clearly saw that bleed into the season at certain points. And Steve Smith Sr. in the same podcast goes on to talk about, Travis Hunter is not a very crisp route runner, and he went into details. He was like, I was at his pro day. He was doing things that not routes that you run in the NFL. He was just like doing things to be flashy and whatever. And he was like, and so there has to be a little bit of a sense of, okay, you're bringing this guy and forcing from Brian Thomas Jr. And again, this is just Steve Smith's opinion, not saying this is what he heard. But he was like, there has to be a little bit of a feeling of, okay, you're bringing this guy in here who's not even, like, he's a better corner. He's not very crisp in his route running. And now people are talking about him taking my job already. And so does that affect him? Did it affect him? It seemed like later in the season, things started to shake out. Granted, Travis Hunter wasn't on the field later in the season. It almost felt like the moment he wasn't there, offense started clicking a little more, defense started clicking a little bit more. And we've talked about that in the sense of forcing things. But just for Brian Thomas Jr., I think you need to have one of those years. And I'm not saying you have to have 13, 14, 1,500 yards, but you definitely want to surpass that 1,000. You want to see some more touchdowns and way less drops because, like, you're not talking about the top receivers in the league having double-digit drops. It's just not something that's going to happen.
It's funny. Remember, was it Justin Jefferson's like rookie training camp? He was constantly dropping the
everyone
ball.
was panicking.
Yeah, everyone was freaking out. But obviously, once the lights went on, so to speak, and that's what we thought with Brian Thomas Jr. Because in preseason, his rookie year, he made an unbelievable catch against, I think it was the Chiefs. They're on that sideline. But look, I also think there were some personal things. You know, he had that friend that ended up passing away, and you never know how much that affects you in life. We've lost friends, right? And it's devastating. Yeah. So especially under the circumstances that was. But look, I tend to be optimistic when it comes to someone like him because I think he wants it so badly. I think he works so hard. And to your point, I don't think he is a diva whatsoever. Yeah. And I don't think Trayvon's a diva, which is also great because Trayvon has a chip on his shoulder, even though he was taken number 1 overall. Bashal Tutin wasn't taken until the 4th round, and people like to say he has a fumbling issue or a turnover issue back in college. So that's a chip on his shoulder. Chris Rodriguez also has a chip on his shoulder because he's barely been given the football in the NFL. Chance. By the way, it is 85-82 Kentucky over Santa Clara.
18.9 seconds left.
Yes, with 18.9 seconds left. So I think it's a good time to bring Patrick Young in when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels. We are live here at Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant. The best wings and the coldest beers in town since 2005. Happy hour today, 4 to 7. That means 2-for-1 draft beer, pitchers included, $18 domestic bottle buckets, and $21 import bottle buckets. The quesadilla, the cheese quesadilla, was absolutely fabulous. The lumpia is delicious. The wings, like I said, are fantastic. So
I was bragging about the wings to Patrick earlier. So
so he's going to have to get some wings for sure. All right, so we've got more to do on the other side. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Brought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts. Now, another March update. Delivered by Fleming Island Center for Clinical Research. The future of medicine starts here.
With your March update, I'm Sam Nelson. Arizona's rolling past Long Island as expected. Texas Tech is in control against Akron, and Wright State has jumped on Virginia early. But the wild one is in Brooklyn, where Kentucky and Santa Clara are headed to overtime after a half-court heave at the buzzer. That's your March update on 1010XL.
If you're the kind of person who likes to compete and win, listen up. Purple Heart Pools is hiring sales professionals and project managers to start immediately. Purple Heart Pools is a veteran-owned company building some of the most impressive custom pools in Northeast Florida. And they're looking for people who want to grow, earn, and be part of a winning team. If you've got the drive, work ethic, and the leadership mindset, search Purple Heart Pools and apply today. Equal opportunity employer.
Ace Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
Looking for golf that doesn't feel like golf? Welcome to Pine Royale, Callahan's new golf entertainment destination. Play a 9-hole par 3 course, compete in Trackman-powered driving bays, and get ready for all-new 18-hole mini golf coming soon. As the sun goes down, the course lights up. Add in great food, a full bar, and space to hang with the whole crew, and suddenly golf feels a whole lot more social. Search Pine Royale Callahan and come play today.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, checked by Bowden Iron Associates.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
If your lawn took a beating this winter, listen up. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They've just started the first of 3 rounds of premium granular fertilizer. No cheap liquid fertilizer here. Custom blended for Northeast Florida lawns. Their certified technicians apply slow-release nutrients. Rebuild your lawn thick, strong, and green over time. Plus, they protect your home from pests and termites. Call Julington Creek Pest Control today. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911. GarageDoor911.com.
Save big and head to Ronnie's Repair on Sunbeam Road, your local sales and servicing Toro dealer, for their spring sales event next week. Ronnie's offers the full line of residential and commercial Toro zero-turn, stand-on, and walk-behind mowers in gas and battery options. Get groundbreaking savings on Toro Time Cutter, Titan, and Z-Master zero-turns, Grandstand multi-force stand-ons, and walk-behind mowers. Take advantage of the Toro 0% financing or Toro rebate on select mowers. Stop in next week between the 25th and 27th to check out great deals and amazing finance offers. Ronnie's has everything you need to make your lawn look the best in the neighborhood. For more details on spring sales event deals, visit your local Toro dealer. Ronnie's Repair on Sunbeam Road. Browse the entire Toro line at ronniesrepairshop.net. All handhelds and accessories will be 10% off during the spring sales event.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Well, everyone, the madness did not happen today as Kentucky did beat Santa Clara in overtime. Taylor Dahl is here. Patrick Young has joined us here on site. Thanks so much. I'm Lauren Brooks. RJ Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters. And Tom McManus, of course, on vacation. He'll be back next week. But Patrick, this is your first time at Big Dogs?
Yeah, first time. Absolutely, yeah.
And
This
you
is
just had the lumpia?
Oh,
He just
my
tasted
gosh.
Olympia for the first time, and now he's
Yeah.
in heaven.
Y'all were like, I was like, what is this thing that I've never had?
Our engineer, Aaron Williams, was like, trust me, you'll enjoy it.
Like, I'm thinking about can I make these? This is like a perfect little protein snack. Probably just throw in the air fryer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Lumpia is delicious. And then, of course, I've got the cheese quesadilla. Taylor had wings. Now Aaron's about to dive into the burger. So all sorts of good stuff here at Big Dogs at 1330 Blanding Boulevard. And your thoughts on Kentucky being able to pull off the win in overtime?
Well, first thing I want to say is it's so cozy in here.
It is.
It's got a great vibe. So it's absolutely well worth the drive. Wish there were more people that were, when the Gator game. It's so late tonight.
I know, it is so late.
Are y'all going to be out or be at home? watching?
I'll be at my parents' house because we have St. Patrick's Day bunko leading up to the Gator game. So
if not, Lauren would probably, she could not watch.
I'd be at home.
Yeah, she can't watch any important game out and about because people bother her.
People like to talk. Why
She's
on
like, I'm
earth
trying
do they
to watch the
try
game.
to chit chat? I don't want chit chat. I want to focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, where will you be? At home?
I will be at home.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe a nap because you've had a busy day.
Well, yes, for sure. And I would have loved to driven down to Tampa,
Yeah.
but because of all the flight issues we got
Right.
going on, I got to be at Charlotte tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm like, this whole airport stuff, I just want to make sure I have no issues getting out there.
Are you driving to Charlotte?
No, flying.
You
we're
are flying, okay.
I'm just going to get, 4 hours in before the time, which is crazy.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville, I like to play,
Airport roulette.
Play airport roulette. Yes. I have only missed once.
Okay.
Oh.
That's pretty good.
Do you have the pre-check?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
it. You
yeah.
fly a
Game
lot,
changer.
obviously, for work. Yeah, it is
Yes.
important to have, especially if you're flying in busy airports. That's where it's really helpful. Like a Denver airport is crazy, Miami is crazy, and things like that. All right, let's talk some basketball, Patrick. As far as Kentucky, obviously not being upset, I should say, and then some of the games we saw yesterday. Siena almost beating Duke. I want to get your thoughts on this. I told Taylor to start the show. Why did the coach not sub in any player?
You know, I talked about it earlier, and I'm just thinking for the coach. You know, you got to believe that there's going to be a run made by Duke at some point.
For
Like
sure.
no one can go. I remember I there was one game in Florida I remember where I played 38 minutes because Will broke his foot.
Okay.
38 minutes is a different monster.
Especially when you play as hard as you play.
Oh my gosh, you got people want to talk about. Oh, you should never take a playoff. There's some things, you know, you can take plays off. Yeah, absolutely. And there was another game when I played in Turkey. Same instance.
Okay.
No one was behind me. I do not do this, kids listening. I drank 2 of the 5-hour energy extra strengths, one before the game and one at halftime.
Oh my!
That does not sound like you said. That's not good advice for kids these days.
Don't do that. Yeah, I didn't sleep for probably a week after that. But I mean, guys, this is so cool. Just the madness that we're seeing, especially from that Kentucky. It's so weird. What are you doing, Patrick? Cheering for Kentucky? You know, I've gotten soft.
Yeah,
the SEC teams, you know, Mark Pope seems like a good dude. You know, even though Denzel Aberdeen left, I still kind of want to see him in his career. It's just like the finality of it.
Yeah.
Like you'll never see these guys play again. Like seeing Otega Owe and his mom out there, seeing her all nervous and stuff, just takes me back. And
I mean, for BYU, Debanza done.
Yeah, Debanza. You could tell, you could see it on his face that he was like, "Oh, it's the end," and that has to hit you pretty hard when it ends that way in the first round.
I mean, so many of my coworkers, they're always so certain that now that even though there's been this huge change where you can stay, you can get paid, you can develop a little bit more. Maybe you can become a legend at your university forever. And you know, there's guys you don't have to be there all 4 years, but Nate Ament, he's really good. Why not? I mean, they're going to have to pay him like $6 million to come back and stay.
Yeah.
But he can still be, because so many guys I've seen in the SEC through the years, they disappear.
Yeah.
Just that, and I get it. It's the NBA. It's your dream. Absolutely. You know, that's why I you know, whether we're talking about Carson Beck or even like Denzel Aberdeen, you know, you messed up allegiances where you can never go back to a place really and be welcomed. I don't know. It's such a weird dynamic.
It is, but at the end of the day,
Hard to adjust.
it makes people like you, someone who we talked to yesterday, Chandler Parsons, who played 4 years at Florida, it makes those types of things so rare now.
I know. Yeah, and the team early in the season, I was okay, if Florida doesn't win the championship, Purdue.
Yeah.
Because they have a bunch of guys on their team that came in as a class together and stayed all 4 years. And like Braden Smith, he's 2 assists away from breaking Bobby Hurley's all-time assist record in the NCAA, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the guy that would benefit from staying. He's 6'1". You know, there's not a lot of those guys in the NBA anymore.
Right.
It's a handful. He stayed in, who knows, he made, I don't know, $5-6 million to stay in college. And now, he can still go and pursue his dream. But if, you know, he can venture on and do so many other things. He doesn't have to be married to the NBA.
Yeah. If the G League doesn't work, you come back and play at Alabama.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Good old Charles Bediako.
If he would have done that, my sentiment to it is if he would have done it right after not getting drafted, maybe we can see a precedent and have a little bit more empathy for it. But
that was 2023.
I know
that he declared.
I know what in the world.
And clearly he got some bad advice because he wasn't drafted. To your point, and I was at that game in Gainesville when Alabama came to town.
I even think for Nate Oates was like, dude, he rejected you technically.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you told him
Maybe not a good idea. Let's stay one more year.
I hate how Nate Oates always sounds like he's constipated. That's just, I really just we gotta get better at defending the three. I don't know, guys. Yeah, just like I don't understand. He's so animated on the side, on the sideline, and that's how he talks. But I definitely question. So many ethics and morality questions you have around all of this stuff. We don't have tampering rules yet.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just like trying to push the button and see what they can get away with. I know.
Yeah, it is. It's this line, and right now because there's not enough guardrails, the line is movable, and so they're like, let's see how many boundaries we can bust through until the NCAA is finally like, no, you can't do this. But they're not able to right now.
I did see today in April, the Division I cabinet is scheduled to discuss emergency legislation that would impose significant penalties on schools that add transfer players who did not properly enter the transfer portal during the designated January window. Coaches would receive a 6-game suspension, and the school will be fined 20% of its football budget under the current proposal.
So that's interesting because we were talking about that yesterday, and we were having the conversation about the portal. We were talking about college football, but I was like, that second portal now is gone, so this is going to affect that. Before spring practice would happen, and then people would be like, oh, I can move around and I could do some things.
Yeah.
You don't have that. And who were we talking to? I forget our guest yesterday.
Richard Johnson.
Yes. Richard Johnson was like, well, people, all you do is you go enroll in another school. Like, you don't hit the portal. You just move, enroll in another school, get on their program. And so this seems like a way to try and maybe stop some of those things from doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, maybe we're getting some guidelines, guardrails that we've been begging for years.
Technically, I guess, drop out.
Yeah. Drop out and then go re-enroll in another school where you want to play.
You could do that. Could you, though?
I suppose there's got to be something as far as the athletic scholarship part of things, though, that would be impacted. All right, we've got more basketball to discuss. It is March Madness. We are live here at Big Dogs Family Sports Restaurant, 1330 Blanding Boulevard, just south of the intersection with Night Box Road. Best wings, best beer, coldest beer in town, and the best beer. Happy hour today, 4 to 7 p.m. We've got Patrick Young here with us. Stop by and say hello. It's Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL, where legends draft and drift to the checkered flag.
Right into it! They crossed the line, and guess who wins the race?
This Sunday at Darlington.
Wow!
On Jacksonville's high-performance NASCAR station.
Oh, my goodness.
1010XL.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Yo, E.T. here. And you know that on the field, preparation wins championships, right? Well, the same goes for your health. Right here in my side of town in Fleming Island, Encore Research Group is helping locals take charge through cutting-edge research studies. Everything from weight loss to diabetes and hypertension. Their team of local, multi-specialty doctors is focused on advancing medicine and keeping our community healthy. If you want to see if you qualify, check them out at EncoreDocs.com.
Your time matters, so why waste it sitting in a dealership for a basic oil change? At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you're in and out in 15 minutes. No appointment needed, and you never leave your car. Rated 4.7 stars nationwide and #1 quick lube in America by Forbes for customer service. The experts at Valvoline will have you on your way quickly. And FYI, your warranty can't be affected by having Valvoline work on it. That's the law, no matter what other places may insinuate. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, easy, done.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
How many Major League Baseball players have played exclusively for the Yankees and the Mets?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Just 6 Major League players have played exclusively for the Yankees and the Mets, including the famous Yankee catcher Yogi Berra.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your National Builder of the Year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Northeast Florida isn't just where we work, it's our home. I'm Chris Campione, and when an accident turns your life upside down, you need a law firm that truly understands this community. At Campione Law, we treat our clients like neighbors, not case numbers, and you don't pay a dime unless we recover for you. From semi-truck accidents to medical malpractice and even workers' compensation, we handle it all. Visit CampioneLaw.com. Offices, Jacksonville and St. Augustine.
Count on Campion. Campion Law.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels Live here at Big Dogs in Orange Park, really between kind of Orange Park and Fleming Island and Middleburg out here, Blanding Boulevard, having a great time, and of course talking all things college basketball with Patrick Young, Gator legend, joining us. We had Chandler Parsons, Gator legend, yesterday. Now Patrick Young hanging out with us at Big Dogs today.
Chandler's a teammate.
Yeah?
Let me see. Do I have a quick good story on Chandler?
Y'all played together one season?
Yeah, just one season.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
say, Chandler was he was a goofy guy. Then he got in his head a lot.
Okay.
Because I remember we had a shooting coach. Gosh, this was, I hate to bring this story up, but it was when we went down to go play against UCF.
Okay.
And, Chandler's from Castleberry. So, I don't know how many tickets he had requested, 30 that night. And just so much of that, I guess,
Pressure.
affecting him. It's just in his head. He airballed a free throw in the game. Like, we lost and whatnot. But from that point on, Coach Donovan challenged him. I saw him like he's the first SEC player of the year in Florida history, and Scottie Wilpingham being the second. So, like, he became that after that moment. That was really cool to see. So, but if you asked me if I saw that he was going to have the career that he did,
right.
I don't think anyone really saw that.
Yeah.
He really, especially with how he shot in college, he wasn't like a
Right.
dead eye like he became
Yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah, we've talked about, in the sense, sometimes maybe you need that, like, that moment where you're like, I've got to turn it up and turn it on, or this isn't going to work. And we've talked about it in the sense of Florida right now, coming off that loss against Vandy. Did they need that to kind of, fix some things, whether it's go back and watch film? I know Todd Golden was not easy on him because we've seen other moments throughout the year.
What do y'all think happened? Like, if obviously the stars didn't align in a major way. Like, what do you think?
I think at some point in time they almost wanted to lose because they know you don't want to go into the tournament with that kind of a crazy streak. Like, at some point you're going to lose a basketball game.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that they got together and said, let's lose this game.
Let's lose now.
I just think somewhere in the back of their minds, because that wasn't their best effort.
Is that a winning mindset? I guess you got to wait to see what because that reminds me
they
of
would never, by the way, say that.
I know, of course,
Todd would
of course.
never say that. That's just what I think.
In the NFL, when a team decides that they had a great winning streak going into the playoffs, and they decide, hey, no, we're going to rest all of our starters, and they just get all this extra time, and it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Is that better to get that rest or risk injuries and stay I don't know.
Some people would rather have the momentum of, hey, things are working right now. Let's roll into this. And to your point, I'm sure it wasn't a conversation in the locker room if Todd was like, let's lose this game.
Right.
No. But they knew that this wasn't the finality of losing in the actual NCAA tournament.
Maybe
and
this
so
scares you.
I think it sends a little wake-up call. But I feel like tonight, Patrick, when it comes to taking on Prairie View A&M, we were talking about how 3 of their guys played all 40 minutes of the Prairie View A&M game against Lehigh. I don't know that they can do that tonight against Florida the way that they obviously have
their
size
biggest guy
and depth.
is 6'8".
Yeah.
That's already an issue right there, right? I mean,
but does any team in college basketball have the length and depth that Florida has?
You know, one team, I think Arizona would match. Yeah, obviously they won early. I think they would match up well with Florida. Who else did I thought I liked? I didn't watch a lot of Houston this year, but we just always know they defend. Like, that's their identity. They might not always score it. They got the sensational freshman. But obviously, we got to get through Vanderbilt first. But I don't know. There's so many things that go into it.
Yeah. Early on, because what was it? UConn, Florida lost to UConn early, Arizona early, and Duke early?
Yes, correct.
And TCU.
And TCU. Yeah. So in that sense, what do you think is the biggest difference, them being able to shoot better?
Well, it's just such a surprise, right?
Yeah.
That and they kept showing the graphic of like how Florida shot better from the 3-point line every month. And you're like, oh wow, in February they shot 40%. Like, they gotta figure it out. They had a lot of rest going into the Kentucky game. Look, okay, you expect a little bit of rust. A lot of the shots were just short.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, maybe this was an outlier of a game. And then you got Vanderbilt, and you're like, oh, my gosh. I didn't think that we would ever get a BTA in the SEC tournament. Whoa. I'm so bad. I'll be like, oh, that's going to be a sad locker room. I've been there before.
Yeah, been in those sad locker rooms.
I equate probably like when you lost in 2014 to like how the Jaguars probably felt this year. Even though you went farther in the tournament than the Jaguars did, but still, like, you don't expect to lose. And that moment, it robs you of your joy for quite some time, for sure.
Yeah.
So you expect Vanderbilt to beat Nebraska. Because you said, we have to get through Vanderbilt first, but Vanderbilt still has to get through Nebraska.
I picked them.
You picked Vandy?
I did.
Yeah.
So I was saying,
did too,
because Nebraska got their first win, this is going to be like, that's their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And,
like, we did it.
They did it, and they're not going to show up. It's crazy. Vanderbilt, when they're playing so physical right now, we on the network, Ron Slay would always say it, and I started seeing it too. He's like, man, the front court's really got to step up. They lost Duke Miles for a good portion of the season, and it forced Devin McLaughlin, Jalen Washington, who's the other big, A.K. Okereke. That guy's
I always call him Carrot Cake.
His story that he was like a walk-on, like told you weren't good enough to walk on here, and I can't remember what school, and he's like, I don't know if he's going to be an NBA player, but he's got the upside. And now, like, look at that Vanderbilt team, how physical they are. Like, I was so
Tyler
surprised.
Taylor can really shoot it.
They punched Florida and punched them again and punched them again, and I just was like, first off, Ruben, why are you wearing that headband?
I love Ruben Chinyulu's story. We don't have time, obviously, right this second to go all the way through it, but born in Nigeria and then wanted to be a doctor and then
someone was like, you're really tall and I feel like you'd be good at basketball.
Some lady, some random lady.
He keeps in touch with her to this day. He calls her his aunt and things like that. And then now he has a foundation where he collects shoes to send back to Nigeria. It's awesome. But yeah, we got to talk more basketball with Patrick Young here live at Big Dogs. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 10 to XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Greenlaw Group Studios. This is the place for Jaguars football.
Listen to this crowd.
How about them Jags?
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Written by Bowden Iron Associates.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
He's our Big Mac.
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus brings his big opinions to Jaguars Today.
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010 XL.
Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
All right, Jack, so let's talk about it. Spring cleaning feels great until your drains remind you what they've been holding on to all winter. If your sink's burping, your shower's backing up, or your toilet's hesitating like it's reading a blitz, it's time to call in the pros. Call Duck Duck Rooter. During their spring drain cleaning promotion, get your drains cleaned plus a free camera inspection for just $129. Must have outside clean out, honest pricing, proven experience, no fourth quarter surprises. When you're stuck, call the Duck. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Best Bet poker fans, the stakes are high this month as Best Bet dishes out over $700,000 between Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine's poker rooms. Feeling lucky? How about daily high hands, weekend winnings every Friday and Saturday, and go for the green on St. Patrick's Day, where a royal flush in clubs wins up to $5,000. See all the details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I-9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tofoy Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with I-9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by USA Park. March Madness is finally here with 1010XL keeping you updated all day long. Head over to Top Dog Tavern at Bartram Park tonight to watch the games. Enjoy some food and drinks and hang out with Rick Ballou from 6 to 8 o'clock and then Hacker After Dark from 8 to 10 o'clock. It's 63 degrees at 3:01 time and temp. Brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Live here at Big Dogs in Orange Park. Patrick Young joining Taylor and I. RJ Saunders back at World Headquarters. Tom McManus on vacation. He'll be back with us next week. How's the quesadilla over there? Good, right?
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just a straight cheese quesadilla, old school with some tomatoes. Doesn't get any better than that.
Have you ever been to a place where you can choose your tortilla? Because here you can they have a spinach tortilla, a garlic tortilla, and a chipotle tortilla.
No, I have not.
I would have loved to try all
this
of them.
one, though. Yeah,
yeah, the spinach is good. It makes you feel like you're eating something healthy when it's really in reality a cheese.
Like it's green, it's like salad.
Yeah, but thanks to everybody who stopped by and said hello here at Big Dogs, and we're having an absolute blast talking all things college basketball. In case you missed it earlier, Kentucky did win in overtime against Santa Clara, 89-84. Texas Tech ended up pulling away from Akron. They ended up winning by 20, 91-71. Arizona is making easy work out of Long Island. Poor Long Island. They started their football schedule last year with Florida. Not that Florida was a great shakes, but still, now playing Arizona in the tournament.
They
Arizona,
made it.
Yeah, that's true. Arizona winning 63-34 in that one. And then Virginia is losing to Wright State as we sit here right now. The halftime, the second half is just beginning. Halftime is ending. Wright State is winning 43-38. So that's a 14-3. If that holds, that would certainly be, a massive upset. That's for sure.
That's what I'm asking for. I did see, by the way, so the shot when Patrick Young came in, we were talking about that 15 seconds was probably the wildest 15 seconds we've seen between Kentucky and Santa Clara. Santa Clara makes that three. Kentucky goes right back down. But the guy who made it is Otega Owe, who is Commander's defensive end, Odafe Owe's brother. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Just signed a 4-year, $100 million
he just got paid.
I'm sure Owe's getting quite the cash as well.
Doesn't he play kind of tough? Like he played football. Like the way he plays basketball, his physicality and his and it's crazy. Most of his makes, like 80% of his makes, are like in the paint by the basket.
Yeah.
He's so physical.
6'4", 215.
He's got a little
and he started at Oklahoma.
Okay.
He's got a little hitch in his shot.
Yeah.
If he can fix that, I could see him being an NBA player. I don't know.
Yeah.
The right fit.
Someone's being able to develop that out of him, I guess, is part of that. I wanted to talk a little bit too. One of the games I was watching, that Georgia game last night, Georgia St. Louis. Mike White, I'm sure we have this one tweet that keeps getting brought up every couple days, every couple weeks of Mike White when he was obviously still the coach at Florida. But one of the stats from last night, the St. Louis had 54 points at half in the paint, and Georgia had 54 total.
Georgia's a weird team. Remember earlier this season when Georgia was ranked in the top 25? Florida had to play Georgia, and I remember Hayes joining us and being like, Florida's going to wax the floor with them. And he was right.
Yeah.
Mike White's teams what always drove me nuts were the offensive scoring droughts that it seemingly happened every single important game. There was some sort of drought. And guys that were good shooters that got to Florida ended up being worse shooters when they left.
Know.
I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing in practice other than practicing defense because these shots are ugly.
He also, well,
he's a great guy.
It's sad because no one cares. When it comes to he had injuries. He had John Abunu, who was playing really well before he tore his ACL, and
and then he had the eye problem too.
No, that was gosh.
Somebody had a detached retina on the Florida basketball team.
That was one of Mike White's last seasons. And he was playing so well before he got poked in the eye, too.
Jason Jatobo.
Yeah, that's who it was. Kayvon Allen had a great freshman year and just, stayed the same, didn't get better.
Yeah.
So many guys. And sadly, I think his 2017 class, I think every single player transferred and, didn't contribute at all. It's just, all the stars got to align to
it didn't work
build a
out.
legacy.
Yeah, but that's obviously what goes to show you as to how good Todd Golden is. Who do you think is the best coach in college basketball right now?
Number one coach in college basketball right now.
Once the legend's retired, that question becomes difficult to answer.
I guess you have to really give credit to
Hurley, the one that we don't like.
Not Hurley.
Okay.
No, I think Arizona. They have so many pieces. They've been the most consistent this year. 2 freshmen starting. That kid Kochenkov, he's developed so much. That's the team that scares me. I know, Arizona is obviously a one seed and all that, and to think like there's other. No, I just think
Tommy
what
Lloyd.
he's done, what Tommy Lloyd has done for Arizona, and how everyone's just gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 8 guys that could start anywhere, and they just play such team ball. I mean, it's so impressive.
Did you like that Florida ended up having that really tough schedule to start? Obviously, starting the season with Arizona in Las Vegas, and then playing Duke and TCU and UConn.
Yeah, because last year, 13-0 or so in the non-conference, and you play. It's not their fault that those teams weren't great. They didn't end up winning the regular season, and of course, like you want your teams to win every game, but yeah, why not test yourself early, especially against other programs aren't going to hurt your net ranking that much if you lose to them.
Yeah.
They come in the conference and it's weird. They had some weird outlier games like Missouri and Auburn just like jumped out on them and they didn't show up. They forgot the game tipped off. But other than that, they won the conference, and you hope that losing the SEC tournament will be that same kind of catalyst for them to go now into March Madness and win the whole thing. Yeah.
Who do you have winning it all, by the way, in your bracket?
I got Florida.
You do? Okay.
I got Florida.
On both brackets? I think you're 50.
I'm Duke. I did, and then I waited.
Because why'd you turn it? Why'd you do 2 different ones? You just like
Ron Slay made me change my opinion.
Oh, gotcha.
I forgot.
Yeah, because you have Duke, Arizona in the finals, and the one you turned in, and Duke winning.
I'm still not mad at that, though.
No.
I mean, I bet everybody who had Duke winning it all yesterday when Duke was losing by double digits to Siena, was terrified.
Until we realized that Siena has 5 players.
Win this one.
They have more players than that. That's the problem. Like I said, I would have transferred if I was one of them.
Put one of those when you're up 11. Can you give your guys a minute or 2 rest?
Can they breathe?
Can they?
The memes coming out of that on Twitter yesterday were hilarious, though. It'd just be videos of them being when Siena players are trying to rest on the bench, and it shows somebody trying to lay down, and then a parent walking in and be like, "Get up, you gotta go!" And they're jumping out of bed, I'm so sorry. Poor kids.
Yeah, poor kids is right. Let's talk some upsets, Patrick. Did you expect High Point to upset Wisconsin?
Well, I didn't see them at all this year. I didn't hear their name, so no.
Okay.
Especially since Wisconsin was on a 7 or 8 game win streak going into that. I didn't catch the game until the last 7 or 8 minutes, and it showed the game trends. High Point was in control the whole game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone saw that coming. So they got Arkansas next.
Yes, and then A&M ended up with an upset over St. Mary's. It's 10 over 7.
I can see with Bucky McMillan and a Texas A&M team.
Bucky Ball
with their approach and the mindset you have to play that. I could see them just shocking a team like St. Mary's and what they did. I'm not surprised. They're trying to give you 40 minutes of hell. It's great when it's great, but it's when they're not getting turnovers, it's too easy to beat.
Yeah, and then Texas beating BYU. Another. Was Georgia the only SEC team to lose yesterday?
Only one.
Right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
We already talked about Mike White. We'll move on.
I don't think Missouri's gonna beat Miami. I don't know.
That one's interesting. I wish it wasn't on the same time as Florida. Obviously, it tips off a little later at 10:10. But I would love to watch that one.
I mentioned that stat earlier with St. Louis being able to get 54 in the paint. I don't feel like they're going to be able to do that against Michigan, and it feels like that's what led them to everything, all of the positive plays yesterday.
But it would be nice. I mean, I'm cool if they want to be our one Cinderella story, St. Louis this year. Last year, McNeese would have been the only one, and they just won 1 game. There was no higher or lower seed that
got farther than that,
after the first weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Jaguars football. Taylor and I had a conversation earlier about which Jaguars players have the most to prove. We'll get your opinion on that next. We are live here at Big Dogs in Orange Park. The best wings and the coldest beer in town since 2005. Happy hour today, 4 to 7. So in less than an hour, you get 2-for-1 draft beer, pitchers included. It's a family-friendly restaurant. There's games for the kids to play. Delicious food. Stop on by. Big Dogs. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
First Coast living. Always. Jags loving.
Let's go, Jags!
This is the Duval life.
We're Duval till we die, baby.
1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates.
Friday.
Longer days, warmer nights, and a backyard that brings everyone together. Spring and summer in Florida means pool days, backyard barbecues, and night swims under the stars. Pickett here. For nearly 50 years, Surfside Pools have been creating the backdrops for life's best memories. From weekly service and repairs to remodels, commercial maintenance, and new pool construction, Surfside does it all. Ready to float happy? SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools. Summer starts here. License number CPC 044080.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA? Who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com and equal opportunity employer.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and if you think Closets by Design is just closets, you've got to see their brand new showroom at Phillips and Emerson. It's amazing what they can do. See for yourself how they custom design organization for any space: garages, laundry rooms, bedrooms, even the man cave. It's all about smart storage that fits your lifestyle and budget. Schedule an appointment to meet with a design consultant and tour the showroom for ideas you can see and touch. Start at closetsbydesign.com.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service, Instant Keys comes to you.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Here we go. Here we go. One more time. Everybody's
Happy Friday, everybody. We are live here at Big Dogs in Orange Park. And you know what? I think we should give something away right now.
Here we go. Instincts blasting. What better time to
What
give
you got?
away
That's right. We've got a family four-pack to Sporting Jacks versus Miami. That is at UNF's Hodges Stadium this Wednesday, March 25th at 7:30. That kicks off, like I said, at 7:30 on Wednesday. You can see the schedule and get your tickets at sportingjacks.com. Pick a number, Patrick, between 1 and 10.
4.
4. Of course. Call number 4-641-1010, and you have the family 4-pack. Time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
All right, Jaguars players with something to prove in 2026. I'm going to throw a name into the hat that we didn't discuss earlier. We did talk about the running backs, Patrick. We talked about Trayvon Walker for sure. We talked about Brian Thomas Jr. I'm going to throw a guy that's going into his second year in Travis Hunter. I think he has something to prove because of the fact that the Jaguars told us, basically James Godstone told us he's going to change the sport of football. They told us he's going to play both ways. Now he may play a little bit more corner. But still, I think there's something to prove because the Jaguars gave up so much draft capital to move up to get him.
What do you attest the injury to? Like,
so we had Jimmy Smith on, obviously former Jags receiver. He used the word fatigue because he played so many snaps, both offensively and defensively. And because it was in practice, it wasn't in a game.
And that lack of rest between college football to the NFL, their rookie season. And so he didn't say, it wasn't, because a lot of people were like, oh, he's not going to be able to do this because the injury, it's going to be too hard on his body. Jimmy didn't say that. He just said a fatigue injury, which he says a lot of players in their rookie season you deal with that anyway. It's usually a little later in the season because it's nonstop now for the rookies when it goes to how they have to go to combines and pro days right after the season and all of that. But that was never confirmed. That was just Jimmy saying what he's heard that specific injury linked to is fatigue.
In all honesty,
knee injuries are tricky.
When I injured my knee, I got surgery by the James Andrews. And I remember him telling me the number one thing that he would tell all kids and families with kids, you cannot, as hard as you want them to play, they have to rest. Overplay, overuse is the number one cause of all that. Like doing Tommy John surgery on a 12-year-old, like, come on, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, look, knee injuries, there's so many obviously different parts, and I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on radio, but it could have been something that he had dealt with in college too, and it was just lingering, and that's where it happens, and like I said, in practice. It was just so odd. We were headed to Vegas, and because the Jaguars, of course, were about to play the Raiders, and we saw his name pop up on the injury report, and it just said limited in practice that day with a knee injury, and I remember being like, that's different. That's unusual. He hasn't been on the injury report, but just limited. Okay. And then obviously you find out the next day that he's going to miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was weird. I do remember it's like, oh, this is cryptic. And then you're just like, oh.
And this regime is going to always be less forthcoming with the injury stuff. They're going to be transparent, more transparent than obviously
a lot of other things.
Many other many other regimes, and they're going to take us into the locker room after losses, and that's awesome. But the injury part of things certainly not going to be transparent about, and that's their choice.
Yeah, and going back to just the something to prove, I do, and just in the sense, I think most people in Jacksonville would agree in the sense of I don't know if we necessarily care that Travis Hunter is this number one wide receiver and number one corner and does both, and that's what we're talking about. I think you want what most people say is being that star, and it seems like corner is that position that everybody says he's better at. He's more natural at corner. If you can have a stud top 3, 4, 5 corner in the NFL, Jacksonville would be fine with that, I think. And it's national media that's the ones that's going to hang on some of the other stuff, just like the conversation with, Aiden Hutchinson compared to Trayvon Walker and all of those conversations. There's always going to be the bigger storyline of you traded a lot of stuff because you said this guy was going to change the football, everyone, the game of football, and that he was a unicorn. And when you attach those names to people, automatically everything kind of raises of what people expect from them.
That's such a good point. It's probably, I wonder if we could do a poll of the Jaguars fans, if they would say, I want Travis Hunter to be decent at both or just excellent at one. I think it's not a failure.
They would say excellent at one.
Right. I'm like, it's not a failure if he's not able to become this game-changing superstar on both sides. But if he can, he's got hands.
Yeah,
absolutely. And as
if he's going to be a
corner,
receiver,
I mean, go get that ball.
Right.
We saw him, yes, as a receiver, go up and get that ball multiple times.
true.
But when you talk about the teams with the best secondaries in the NFL, you're usually talking about teams that go deep in the tournament.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think, I think Jags fans, especially thinking that he's going to play corner this year, would say, give us a Pat Surtain. Hell yeah, we've got enough. We've got enough guys that can catch the football on offense.
Yeah, you scored a lot of points last year, and what you couldn't do down the stretch is stop people from scoring, especially once when you get to the postseason. And so you don't want to have these continuous drives of where your defense is on the field that long, and that was kind of what we were seeing at certain points. Granted, you won a lot of football games, but that was because the offense was able to keep up and score a lot of points too. So I do think you're in this world where you're saying a lot of people are confident of Buster Brown, Jordan Lewis, Travis Hunter, and Jarian Jones. You feel like those four can be good corners, and you feel comfortable in that sense. But you need Travis Hunter to be that corner that you feel like can lock down guys, because you didn't have that last year completely.
Yeah, I agree. I completely. I think he is one. And I think with him, not only does Travis have something to prove, but like the regime with him at the same time. There's pressure for, do they? And I don't want them to feel pressured.
Yeah.
Do what you think is right. Do what you think is best for him and for the team. That's ultimately it.
Do you ever wonder if he had been picked by the Browns at 2, right? Like if they were staying there at 2, the Jaguars didn't trade up with the Browns.
I'd be sad for him.
True. But I wonder what their game plan would have been for him. Would it have been
The rumors were wide receiver.
Right, but would it have been just that, or would they have tried him at least a little bit of both because of the idea of it? And look, that he was very vocal. I want to play both positions in the NFL. Will be fun to watch. By the way, we have a tie ball game, Wright State and Virginia, tied at 53 with about 12 and a half minutes left to go in the second half. So yeah, we need to get that one. Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah,
on the
53.
Yeah, yep, perfect. Just look up, and of course there'll be a
TV
game
somewhere.
on the TV. They've even got some women's basketball.
Yeah, they do have women's
on here as well.
Some horses.
Exactly.
And some horses.
And some horses. That's also important.
I have another one
Yeah,
too.
me
And
too.
this is kind of a different level of one, because this person has to prove, like we've talked about players that need to prove that they're great because we feel like they can be great. Mason Smith, to me, I feel like we're at the point. You're proving that you even deserve to have a spot on the roster at this point in time, and it's been virtually non-existent. We've seen way too many healthy scratches from him, and when you're on there, you just feel like you haven't seen enough at all. And this
injured
is somebody
before this season.
And then you used a high draft pick on this player too, and it was somebody who everybody talked to coming into the draft were like, okay, he needs a lot. He's a guy that needs a little bit of work. There's some development that needs to be had in Mason Smith. But at this point, you're heading into year 3, and you haven't really felt like you've seen anything. And that interior defensive line we've been talking about for years now needs something. It needs that umph. And a player like Mason Smith just popping and having that year where you see him start to develop, I think would be huge for the team in general, because you feel like maybe you see some glimpses in a young guy that can help that interior defensive line and do some of the things that we saw at LSU. But there's just a long way to go in that. So I don't know where the level is. Like, are you just wanting him to prove he can be a rotational guy right now and be happy with that? I think a lot of people at this point would say yes.
I'm not. You're not mad at that, but I got a question for you. What about Anton? Is it all right, this is probably just what we're going to get, or hey, elevate your level? Because he's still on his rookie contract.
Right. I think for him, he's played really well most of the time. He's
definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
He got baptized by Chris Jones to start his rookie year. Oh my gosh.
He did. But I think they challenged him publicly, and I think that was really good for him. And I think he'll be expected to come in really good shape at this training camp. And I don't think necessarily he's a lot to prove because he's locked into a starting role at this point in time, but I'll pivot to Walker Little. That's one that I would say he has a massive amount to prove. It may not be as a Jaguar, but to prove to the NFL that he deserves a starting role, considering as of right now, he's not a starter on this team.
Follow-up. Follow-up question.
Go for it.
At about what age do you say, all right, this guy truly has hit his prime? It's going to be different in positions, but let's just go with the line right now. And you're like, okay, they're not really getting any better. They're just maintaining, saying they've hit that. That's who they are. They're just getting a year older, not getting better anymore. At what age is that for, I guess, offensive line or defensive line?
I think that's hard because you look at a guy like Cole Van Lanen, and another team's basically discarded him for what it was, a 6th-round pick, and now he's a starting left tackle in the league. And I think a lot of people would say, like, if you're not starting by 25, you're probably not going to be a starter in this league. But as far as the defensive line, I would say probably right around there. Yeah, like 25, 26 is when you start to know what you really have in a player.
Yeah, and I think also reps. We talk about how many reps have some of these guys gotten, whether it's offensive line or defensive line, because I think we've seen through the NFL, and we talk so much about the quarterback in that sense. You know, Sam Darnold, how many stops he had to go through to finally find the right spot for him. Baker Mayfield, how many stops he had to go through. I don't think it's as easy for some of the other positions when it comes to trenches, because the trenches are so much about communication and having that like cohesiveness with each other and with the line. So if you're someone that hops from team to team and is constantly, if you're having to move across different lines and things like that, I feel like it's harder to develop. So I do think you have to be able to have somebody who truly gives you a shot and you get those reps and try to be comfortable on a line. And so that's why it's hard to say an age, because I mean, we're seeing guys now, multiple Philly offensive linemen playing into late 30s. And so I think, and they started for a decade, they've been doing that, you know, and some other ones we'll see they're 30 years old, they've been rotational at another, and then all of a sudden,
how do you
sparks.
explain it? I don't know how you explain it.
I don't know. I mean, I think that it's
good coaching. That's what I was about
to say.
But I mean, you're an athlete, obviously. Like, at what age did you feel like you reached your peak?
Well, I that's a good question to ask on the basketball court. I'm like, at what age does it really not matter that, you know, Cooper Flagg was competing with Team USA guys that are in their 30s that are top of the top when he was 17 years old, you know. And
you've got LeBron still balling out at 41.
Right? You know, I would say 23 to 27, 28 was like my
mid-20s.
Mid there, there.
Is typically the peak. But, yeah, for offensive linemen, it feels like you're kind of pigeonholed pretty early on. You're either a starter or you're a backup, and you're going to be a journeyman backup. Like, there's not a lot of cases where there is a Cole Van Lanen. Like, that is much more the anomaly.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting with, like, a guy like Wyatt Milam. Does he end up starting this season?
Yeah. I wanted to connect that because both of you, yesterday you mentioned it when we were talking to Chandler Parsons, and then you said it earlier, too. It took some time into college for him to, when it comes to the shooting aspect of his game, how does that click? How all of a sudden do you become a shooter when that hasn't been your game?
You know, and on the flip side, that's two things. When it's knowing yourself, believing in yourself, and I don't know, it's a lot of reps.
Yeah.
It's a lot because, you know, Kevin Durant, his shot isn't perfect. It's, you know, it's a little bit elbow funky out there, but like he's one of the best scorers of all time. You know, Casey Prather, he wanted so much to be a shooter at Florida, and he started getting that kind of mindset. I don't want to make a turnover. Don't make a turnover. I don't want to mess up. And because you're thinking that so much, you can't be present. And, oh, my gosh, his first 3 years, he struggled so much. And he just committed going to his senior year that he was going to start from scratch, fix his jump shot, stop worrying about shooting threes. And, I mean, he ends up having one of the best single seasons in Florida basketball history. So, you know, it can be true either way. I think you have to be realistic with yourself because another example, Blake Griffin, he realized them knees weren't jumping through the roof anymore into the ceiling. He became a great shooter for a little bit. Al Horford as well, both those, you know, and I don't know, it's so many things have to align. You got to be at the right organization, and you know, it's just so many things that go into it. I wish it was so easy.
Yeah.
But
and you can't instill confidence in someone. I think that's the hardest thing. I mean, even doing a job like ours, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can only get confidence once you've done it for a long time. But people are going to tell you right off the rip, you better be confident or you're never going to get the reps. It's like, but wait a minute.
You just got to do it.
Yeah. And at some point, you have to believe in yourself. I think that's well said. By the way, it is now 60-58 Wright State over Virginia with about 11 minutes left in the second half. So, yeah, another
I'm not going to say I hate it.
You want Virginia knocked out?
Man, I'm just so sour always about Virginia with and Tony Bennett apparently is an amazing human being.
Yeah.
I could not stand their style of play.
The slow.
A
lot of defense.
Yeah, we actually played them my can't remember, my junior or senior year in the tournament. And, yeah, in practice, Coach Donovan would have us, sit in the defensive stance and, like, all of our reps against the scout team to be 35-second possessions.
Okay.
Like, and if they got an offensive rebound, instead of doing a normal 20-second clock, he's like, y'all going to value these possessions, and you're going to understand this is the style. And, yeah, it worked. We won.
It's great coaching.
Yeah. And ever since then, them winning the national championship is the worst thing that's happened to basketball. I'm kidding. It's not.
Well, yeah. Bennett's gone now. Now it's Ryan Odom, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
All right. More to do on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels live here at Big Dog. Stop on by in Orange Park. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Your home for Florida Gators basketball is 1010XL.
The top-seeded Gators take their first step in the big dance tonight in Tampa against Prairie View. 9 o'clock on 1010 a.m.
Now, another March update delivered by Fleming Island Center for Clinical Research. The future of medicine starts here.
With your March update, I'm Sam Nelson. Kentucky carried the SEC flag, outlasting Santa Clara in an overtime thriller. Arizona's cruising past Long Island as expected, and we might have another upset brewing as Wright State took a halftime lead on Virginia. Right now, it's back and forth. Alabama will get underway this hour. That's your March update on 1010XL.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Bowden Iron Associates. Helmets and Heels Friday.
Frank Franzi here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
Lola's Burrito and Burger Joint in Riverside, voted best burrito in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly. They serve giant burritos, juicy burgers, cold draft beer, and the perfect margarita. Enjoy happy hour Monday through Friday 2 to 7. And to celebrate the madness, $10 pitchers of Outlaw Light or 10 wings with a domestic pint for just $15. Don't forget to ask about catering. Order today at lolasburritojoint.com.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Hey there, ET here with 1010XL, and here's a little how to be cool secret. No need to wait for an anniversary or a birthday. I just simply dial up Kuhn Flowers and send someone something special for absolutely no reason. It's really fun, and I can do it online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hoops action continues this Friday. Enjoy the madness with the shows of 1010XL. Watch the Friday games of the tournament and enjoy food and drink specials all day. Starting with Helmets and Heels, live from Big Dog's Tavern on Blanding Boulevard. Then join the Frangie Show at Fourscore, a golf tavern on Gate Parkway from 4 to 6. Then finish the day with Into the Night with Rick Ballou and Hacker After Dark at Top Dog Tavern on Old St. Augustine Road. Now that's the way to celebrate hoops.
The Florida Forum welcomes world-renowned chef and humanitarian Jose Andres at the Center for Performing Arts March 31st. His impact spans the globe as founder of World Central Kitchen, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and global leader using food as a force for change. All proceeds for the Florida Forum benefit the Women's Board of Wilson Children's Hospital, supporting a new outdoor play area for behavioral health services. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, in talking about the quality of cut of a diamond, is there a particular diamond cutter that's known as the best?
Frank, the answer is yes, and that would be Hearts on Fire, who have the world's most perfectly cut diamond, and we have them now at Underwoods. When anybody comes in and looks at one of these diamonds, the first thing they say is, wow! That's because these diamonds are cut from absolute maximum beauty and are really worth seeing, so you have an idea of how good a diamond can really look. They have perfect polish, perfect symmetry, and perfect proportions, and are backed up with an American Gem Society diamond quality document. Now, not every diamond could be a Hearts on Fire diamond because only certain rough diamonds in the hands of the most skilled cutters working in state-of-the-art cutting facilities can cut these. In fact, only 200 diamond cutters out of the 1 million people employed in the diamond cutting trade are skilled enough to cut Hearts on Fire diamonds.
See Hearts on Fire now at Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Some score updates for you as we are here at Big Dog's Restaurant out in Orange Park. Patrick Young with us, Lauren Brooks here, Taylor Dahl, Aaron Williams, our engineer today. So we mentioned earlier that the Kentucky slid by. They ended up getting out of that one against Santa Clara, but some good ones going on right now, too, as Wright State and Virginia at 67-61. Virginia right now with about 8:08 left in that one. Alabama and Hofstra, they just tipped off 16-12 right now. Alabama, Iowa State rolling over Tennessee State at this point in time, 32-9 with about 9 minutes left in the first half.
Poor Tennessee State. Yeah. That's a dagger. I feel like the gold moment, definitely the ending to that Kentucky, or at least sending it to overtime. The overtime itself wasn't that great. I have some Jaguars news. Thanks to RJ. Field Yates just posted the Jaguars are signing Seahawks restricted free agent wide receiver Jake Bobo to an offer sheet. Seattle has 5 days to decide on whether to match the offer. Bobo has 36 catches in his first 3 NFL seasons, including a 17-yard touchdown in the NFC Championship game last season. He's also been a key member of their special teams units and their best blocking wide receiver. So that tells you exactly why. Yep, that's a versatile wide receiver. If they're really good at blocking, that's something this regime definitely loves.
How much time until
they have 5 days? Seattle has 5 days to decide whether or not they're going to sign him to match the offer. So interesting there that the Jaguars could be adding to their wide receiving core.
What's funny is we did our prop bets for this year. Normally we'll do picks. We pick a bunch of games, but because obviously the Super Bowl, you only have one game to pick, we decided to have some prop bets into that. And Jake Bobo, I almost threw in my prop bets for a touchdown. I don't think he ended up getting one in that game, but I think he did in the postseason at some point. But I just had a feeling that game. It didn't end up working out, so I guess it's good that I did not do that. But I like him a lot. I think I would be down for that here. I think he does a lot of different things. He's a versatile guy. We talk about special teams. You just talked about the blocking ability. So I like it.
Is there a set?
By the way, he's the son of Mike Bobo, the Georgia offensive coordinator.
Is there a set tight end behind Brenton Strange? No, a sure number 2?
Right now, I would say it's Quentin Morris, but I would imagine the Jaguars are going to draft a tight end, if you're asking me.
I
not necessarily with the 56th pick, but at some point in time.
We were talking about some potential guys. There's like a Darren Waller. We were talking about maybe if they bring someone in a little cheaper.
Darren Waller? Okay.
Yeah, this last season he had, I can't remember, I think he only had like 300 yards, but what was it, six touchdowns? 6 touchdowns. He was a big red zone threat for them, and I feel like something like that. I don't know how much
were just delivered, by the way.
It smells so good.
What kind of wings did you get here at Big Dogs?
Grilled.
Oh, you got the grill. It's like
grilled garlic.
It's like their Big Dog's wings, so they're like grilled and
they're
special.
Yeah, you got to go for that.
Absolutely delicious. Yeah, last season Darren Waller had just 24 catches for 283 yards for the Dolphins, but 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And the most he ever had was in 2020 when he was with the Raiders. He had 9 receiving touchdowns, and that season he had over 1,100 yards.
Yeah.
So that touchdown to catch ratio really good for this past season.
The Dolphins were like, just go to the end zone, and we'll try and find you down there.
LSU's got a guy like that. I can't remember his name, but he's like 6'6", 6'7", and every time in the red zone, they just throw it up to him. Yeah.
Just someone will catch it.
Yeah.
We joke about that with like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Like they're down there somewhere. Patrick, I did want to ask you too, when it comes to, we're assuming because of this Florida Prairie View game, Florida gets past that. Is there a preference
Don't you
for
assume
you?
anything.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think we got to assume that. If you guys should be embarrassed if you lose to this.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Clemson, Iowa, is there a preference for you that you think Florida matches up better against between those two teams?
Apparently, Iowa plays like very slow, like Virginia style. I'd probably say them.
Okay.
They do have, I think, 2 solid wins on the season, but I just think a team that is so used to trying to slow the game down, if they get behind and Florida can go come out in a spurt, and they're going to have to play and go out of character to try to match up with Florida, which you start doing that. Florida's big thing right now. Take care of the ball.
Yeah.
That's it. If they can stop turning it over so much, I mean.
You've been saying that since the beginning.
Oh my God! If you just take care of the ball,
Take care of the ball, make your free
every
throws,
game.
and play your game.
Yeah.
Don't try and match the other team and whatever they're doing. Just play your game, which is fast breaks. Points are always in favor of Florida.
If you can get that ball,
Rebounds.
even if you miss, get it on the rim.
Right.
Got a good chance to get it back.
Yeah, one of the craziest moments to me this season was Xavier Lee's alley-oop dunk. The ball wasn't great for him, and he still was able to put it in the basket.
Well, and you've talked to Lauren all year about how the big guys, how quick they can get up and down the court.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even late in the second half, it is insane to watch them sprint every single possession. And normally
so that would wear a team like that down who plays so slow.
Yeah.
Can you believe that Sienna did that? Like, what in the world?
It baffles my mind. And like I said, I would have transferred. If I was on the bench and he didn't sub anyone in, I would transfer it.
Did they say like he's done that?
No,
I
went back during the MAC tournament and looked at their box scores, and multiple other players played in every single game in the tournament. I didn't go through the full season because I don't care that much.
Yeah,
but there you have it.
Is that a fireable offense?
I mean, no, because you had Duke on the ropes, and you made it to the NCAA tournament at Siena, but still, it baffles my mind.
You need a fine or something. I don't know.
For real. By the way, this Virginia Wright State game, Virginia now has a 4-point lead, 67-63, with about just under 7 minutes to go. Oh no, Wright State
67-66.
That's right, 67-66.
6-7.
So we've got another great game. Come to Big Dogs, and I will tell you what, you won't miss a minute of the action because there's TVs everywhere. You can watch every single game that you want to see, including this Iowa State game if you really want to watch it. Up 36-9 there for Tennessee State, like I said. All right, so we've got 1 segment to go. Pest of the day on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Veterans have given everything in service of our country. I'm Chris Campione, and if you've been injured in an accident through no fault of your own, or dealing with the consequences of having your VA benefits denied, you deserve someone who will fight hard for you. At Campione Law, we're proud to stand up for those who have served and protect the rights that you've earned. You don't pay anything unless we win your case. Learn more at CampioneLaw.com. Offices, Jacksonville and St. Augustine.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, enhanced by Bowden Iron Associates.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality in Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trusted company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
Spring cleaning is great, but there's something even better. Spring cleaning and organizing. Lauren Brooks here, and I love our organized closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for every space and budget. Make an appointment today to tour their showroom on Phillips Highway and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation today. 904-878-9393 or online closetsbydesign.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here for my friends Chad and Sandy. What are your concerns? What struggles do you anticipate when it comes time to sell your home? What is it that bothers you? What's keeping you from getting max money as quickly as possible? Well, I don't know what those reasons are because I know they're all silly. Because Chad and Sandy have one down to the line guarantee. Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. It'll be at a price and a rate that you agree upon beforehand. So if you need to sell now, fast, easy, stress-free, and you need max price, then you need Chad and Sandy. The government's making moves intended to push mortgage rates lower. The last time rates dropped, we saw a selling and buying frenzy. Now's the time to prepare. It's time to call Chad and Sandy. Darcy in San Jose did. I wanted to move to a more walkable, vibrant area. Within 3 days of working with Chad and Sandy's team, I found the perfect home. They do it stress-free with a guarantee. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200. That's chadandsandy.com.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Want a one-stop shop when it comes to commercial or residential construction? Then pick Preferred Builders. They should be high on your list. Over 70 years of construction experience combined with exceptional product and service warranties. They've got a team ready to tackle any size project. In fact, they built their business in Duval by offering superior work at reasonable prices, and reputation over time means something. Honest and knowledgeable, reliable and responsive. Be sure and put Preferred Builders into your game plan for your next construction project. That's Preferred Builders.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Last day without Tom McManus. He'll be back on Monday. Hope he's having a fantastic vacation. We so appreciate you, Patrick Young, for hanging out with us here at Big Dogs today.
Yeah, the wings are top tier.
The wings are elite.
They are elite. They
Yes.
are
Like the Elite Eight.
on point.
Elite
is
Eight.
this the thing?
On point.
Right?
You can make it
No?
a thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a
It's
Gen
TikTok
Z thing. But
Oh,
Is it?
gotcha.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's a
I
little
don't.
younger than me.
I don't have TikTok, so I don't know.
Me
By
neither.
the way,
It's great.
Virginia up by 1 right now, 71-70, with about 3.5 minutes left to play. I have Virginia in the Final Four, so I guess I'm rooting for Virginia.
Why?
I don't know. I was just randomly picking things in my bracket. Time now for the Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online, Terminix.com. They do a fantastic job taking care of all the pest control issues at our house, so that means we have no issues. Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. Like I said, Terminix is the best. Okay, the Pest of the Day, the fact that we lost the one, the only Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
We found that out earlier today.
yeah.
He was hospitalized in Hawaii, on the island of Kauai, as a matter of fact. And I've heard Kauai is the most beautiful of all of the islands in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And he had a medical emergency. We don't know exactly what it was, but passed away at the age of 86. Certainly a phenomenal life, but still
Phenomenal life.
sad that we lost him
Gosh,
today.
phenomenal life. Beautiful. I mean, is the Chuck Norris memes and the
best.
jokes, and oh my gosh, they were the best. His what was his exercise equipment? He'd always
The nunchucks?
no, not the nunchucks.
That's what I always think of for some reason.
The Bowflex or
oh,
something.
the commercial one.
Yeah. But yeah, you're already getting
He had
ones.
his hand in everything.
Oh, he definitely did.
Total Gym.
Total Gym.
His was
There
the
we go.
Total Gym. Yeah.
They
My parents bought one.
There's already some they did because of Chuck Norris. They're like, we got to do this. There was already some coming in today, like after he passed, because it wouldn't be Chuck Norris if you didn't start having
For sure.
the little things.
Yeah.
And so, because somebody was like, Chuck Norris didn't die; he gave life permission to go on without him. And then somebody else said he didn't die; he just tapped death out and took his job. So those are going to be coming because that's just everything with Chuck Norris with those funny memes or just sayings that surrounded.
Yeah,
He is the true most interesting because I don't know is the Dos Equis man is he
most
actually,
interesting?
is he actually like a big deal? Like is he or do they just make him
They try to force it a little.
force it? Because I feel like Chuck Norris should have been their sponsor for that. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. I wonder who Chuck Norris is rooting for up in heaven as far as this Wright State Virginia game. Virginia just a 3-point lead with under 3 minutes left to play in that one. So, yeah, it's been a fun day of watching basketball here at Big Dogs. The wings are phenomenal. The lumpia is phenomenal. Everything here is delicious. We've been here multiple times and love it here on Blanding Boulevard.
Yeah, I think it's 3 years straight for us now that we've been here. Yeah.
So mark it on your calendar for next year.
Yeah.
March Madness.
Heck yeah.
Back here at Big Dogs.
Yeah, it's a blast. And this time of year, this is, even if you're not a college basketball, like, diehard fan, and maybe just a casual watcher, or maybe you don't watch all year long, you're probably watching in March Madness because there's just so much excitement. You get the upsets. Everyone gets to fill out their brackets. I've seen some funny ways. One girl filled her bracket strictly just by which coach was better looking. So we'll see how accurate that is.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. I don't think that's the way Hayes did it, but we can find out now.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes Carline and the Frenchie Show out at 4Score Golf. Hayes, everyone asks these days, how's your bracket looking?
It's not terrible. I got Texas and VCU last night.
Okay.
Kind of felt like I stole one with the VCU coming back from 19 down.
For
so, it could be better. I had Akron. They didn't come through for me today.
Gotcha.
Against Texas Tech. So, this will be big. I need Utah State. I can tell you that.
Okay.
And that game's going to start in about 20 minutes. So I don't even know Utah State's mascot. They might be the Aztecs. I have no idea. But I will be the biggest Utah State fan. The Aggies, there you go.
Yeah.
So, so go Aggies. And but how about the SEC?
I know, other than one Mike White, one of your favorite.
Fat Mike White couldn't get it done. I mean, I thought gaining the 30 pounds was going to really be, the X factor. And obviously that was, oh my gosh, that was an embarrassment last night. But but credit to St. Louis and the SEC though. As a whole, is doing quite well. Kentucky with one of the more thrilling games you'll ever see. That
was wild.
With Santa Clara was, just unbelievable. I was pulling for Santa Clara, but still just really amazing to see Kentucky get that win. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're out here at 4Score. Come say hello to us. We'll be out here and show get off at 6, then we'll hang around a little bit. And obviously, Gators play tonight. We'll break that down. Feel pretty good considering the Gators are a 5-touchdown favorite. But we've got lots to get to coming up on the Frangie Show. We'll talk some NFL and Jaguars with Pete Prisco, so it should be a lot of fun.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much, Hayes. We'll be listening.
Thank you.
All right, 4Score Golf for the Frangie Show. And then coming up later this evening, you've got both Rick Ballou and Ryan the Hacker Green at Top Dog Tavern. So the madness just continues. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Absolutely. Yeah, we got to share some epic basketball, and we got another good finish coming up here with the Virginia Wright State game.
Where do you watch? Where are you going to watch the Florida game at home.
At
you
home,
go out. Okay,
at home.
yeah.
I feel like I
gotta focus.
got up early this morning. I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
I'm taking a nap before.
I get that.
Yeah, you've worked hard today. You have
Yes.
earned that nap. By
These
the way,
wings.
Just like Sienna earned their nap. Those 5 guys.
Those
Yes,
five guys
they did.
did for sure. All right, that'll do it for us today. For the vacationing Tom McManus, for Patrick Young, for Taylor Dahl, for Aaron Williams, our engineer, for RJ Saunders, our producer back at 1010XL headquarters. I'm Lauren Brooks. Thanks again to Big Dogs for having us out. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Monday, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show live from Fourscore is next.